Okay, so what's Arabic? A new section. You see there's a pay here, new section of the story. What happened is, finally we've got to the point where Shaul has made it clear to David that he wants to kill him. Mm-hmm. Right? It's becoming more and more clear. The story started just on his own, then it became to his son and to his men, and now he made it clear. How did he make it clear? Because it looks like this time when he tried to kill him, David noticed.
Yeah, that's what he said.
By Yiftar, which means he moved out of the way, I suppose, and that's how the sword went into the wall. At that point, David fled. So David fleeing means Shaul knows. And if Shaul knows that David knows, then this is Shaul's last chance, because God is going to run away. Okay? So the first place is he went home.
Makes sense.
Right? Because he's got to say goodbye to his wife. Right? Can't just run away. Right? He's got to pack up. He's got to, you could take your tefillin with you, whatever. Right? And so he's got to go. So he went home. That was the first place he went. Vayishlach Shaul malachim. Shaul sent messengers. Malachim means messengers. El Beis David, to the house of David. L'Shamroi, to guard it. He wants to guard the house that David can't get out during the night. V'lahamisai, and to kill him baboker, in the morning. He doesn't make any scene in the middle of the night, invade David's house in the middle of the night. Doesn't have to, right? Why make a scene and make a public spectacle of this whole story and bring attention to it? We just wait for David to leave and he'll arrest him and then have him hung, drawn and quartered, or whatever have done to him. Okay? So he's going to kill him in the morning. All he has to do is put his soldiers around the house tonight. Vataged le David. And she told to David, who's the she? Michal Ishtoi. Michal, his wife. Lamar, this is what she said. Lamar, this is what she said. Im eincha memaleit es nafshecha halayla. If you do not escape your soul tonight, means if you don't save your soul, right? But the maleit actually means to escape. Machar ata mumos. Tomorrow you are dead. Right? Remember, mumos means finished off, completely dead. You have no chance, right? So how does she know? It's unlikely that her father told her, but she may have seen these guys. She looked through the curtains and saw the house surrounded by Shaul's men, and she understood that they were after him. Mm-hmm. It could be Yonasan told her. I've no idea. No, but she understood the way her father thought and put two and two together.
Women's intuition.
Right? Yes. I mean, David doesn't look like me. David didn't realize how bad it was. What Shaul's next move would be. Would he publicly try and do this? No. Michal says, yeah, he will. Right? If you don't escape tonight, you are dead. V'atoyred, what did she do? The house is surrounded. V'atoyred Michal es David be'ad hachaloi. And Michal lowered him through the window. Toyred, let's find the window, redet, to go down. You're red, right? So she took him down. Be'ad hachalon means through. The chalon is a window. Be'ad means through. So she lowered him through the window. I presume that the back side of the house, there was no one guarding the back side.
That's pretty stupid.
Well, it depends. No.
You're trying to catch yourself when you block off all the
No, but that's only if you have. No, it's only if you think that he thinks you're surrounding the house. But it's only Michal who twigged on. And David didn't twig that was going to happen, right? So he'll leave in the morning.
You want to take the chance?
Okay, whatever. Anyway, that's what it looks like, right? The back window, right? This was, she lowered him down through the window. Vayelech, and he went. Vayivrach, and he fled. It doesn't say he ran, because I presume he didn't want to bring attention to himself until he was far enough away from the house. So he just walked away, right? And then Vayivrach, Vayimalek. Now there's lots of different words used here. Lehimalek, that we've had several times, means to escape. But lanus and Vayivrach don't mean the same. You see, we've had the word lanus in Pasuk Yud. The David nos means he fled. Vayivrach also means to flee. And Vayimalek means to escape. And larutz means to run. There's another word, the same words. Larutz, you can run in a race, right?
The noose?
Noose, here you had here. Nos. We say in the Haggadah.
Where is it?
Nos. There, here, where I'm putting it.
That one.
David nos. So nos is one word. Okay, let's get it. Larutz means to run. You can run in a race. You're not fleeing or escaping from anybody. Okay? To escape, lihimaleit, doesn't mean you're running or fleeing. You just escape. You can escape by your disguise. You can escape by lots of ways, right?
Yeah.
But there's two words that seem to escape. One is livroach and one is lanus. I once saw the Malbim explain the difference between them. When we talk about the Red Sea, what do we say? Hayam Ra'ah Mayonos. Right? We say that when the Jewish people came to the Red Sea, the sea saw and it fled. Mayonos. It run, it fled. So what's the difference? So I think the difference is whether you have a place to go to, or you're just running away.
So
are you fleeing in the sense you're fleeing away from somewhere, or you're fleeing to somewhere?
No,
right? I'm just trying to say. It says by the guy who's running away from the guy trying to kill him. The guy who kills by mistake. So he goes to the city of refuge. And then the relative can't kill him. So it says, La nus shama kol retzech, for any murderer to nus, to flee. That looks like he doesn't really care where he's going to. No. He has to go to a specific place, but it's not important for him where he's going to. It's important for him to get away from the other guy.
Okay.
The reason why he's going to this place, not because he wants to be there, it's because he wants to get away from the other fellow. I think how you use the word lanus. Whereas when what's his name? HaNavi, Jonah in the whale, the big fish, he says he was getting away from God, livroach Tarshisha, to flee to Tarshish. He specifically wanted to go there and not to Nineveh, which is where God had told him to go to. So I think livroach means where you've got a plan of where you want to go to. So that looks like that's what David's doing. Initially, when he fled from Shaul, it wasn't important where he was going to. The main point was he wasn't within the firing range of Shaul. So it says
he was going to his house.
Yes, but again, that wasn't. We know that he went to his house because it doesn't say. It doesn't say he fled to his house. No, he fled away from Shaul, right? To be but now he's got a plan. He's going somewhere, right? He's not just fleeing. He's actually fleeing to somewhere. So I think that's the reason why he uses different words. But we remember that, okay? Livroach and lanus. Vayimalek, and he escaped. So we mentioned already the end of Pasuk Yud, according to my interpretation yesterday, this escape, which has now been detailed, was miraculously that he was able to do this, that there was no one at the back, for example, right? Yeah. And that she came and she realized that he was going to be killed in the morning, and he got down through the rope, and all this managed to get away when it was all, no one managed to get him. So that's why Hashem was seen as intervening. But Michal es ha-terofim, that's a very interesting word. Michal took the terofim. Anyone remember the word terofim? We've had it twice. As far as I know, we've had it twice in Tanach to before here. Once is in the context of Yaakov, Avinu, and Rachel. Rachel took the terofim of her father and she put them underneath the camel saddle and she sat on them. And she said to her father, I can't stand up because I have a period, so I don't want to, it's a big mess, it's not nice to stand up. There were idols, there were type of idols. Okay? And they're called terofim. Same word. Some say there were mini shrunken heads, and you could tell the future with them, and all sorts of interesting. But that's what the word terofim is used. The other place where the word terofim is used is, you guys didn't hear it, but we did in Shoftim, when Micha built some type of place of worship, and he made an idol there, and the people came to visit it, and the other people came and said, oh, there's terofim in this place. So it's always some pagan. Right? So it's hard to believe that David had something pagan in his house. It says Michal took, because Michal says his wife, right? She took the terofim. They had terofim, and what did she do with them? Let's see what she did with them first. Tosem el hamita, and she put them in the bed.
Oh, to like pillows on the bed.
She wants anyone who's looking with his binoculars or whatever from a distance, right, to think that David's asleep. So from a distance you can't tell because it's a head. Right, so it's a shrunken head. Okay, David's got a bit of a small head. You can't gauge distance, whatever it is, right? So she's taking something which is a head, putting it in the bed, so that the kid's asleep. So it will delay and give him more chance to escape the further away he gets.
Yeah.
The safer he is.
But why is it Ardo's in a place in the first place?
Oh, exactly. So what's she doing with? Why has she got these heads in her house, right? So there's two parts. Obviously, she didn't have a bit of Zorah in her house, but it could be anything. You know, you have these things that they have in the shops. What they're called?
Mannequins.
Mannequins. That's a whole body, right? But if you have just a head. Like it's in a shaitel shop, right? Or it's a hat shop.
I don't think they had that back then.
Yeah, okay, but 1 second. David could have had one for putting his helmet on. right? Like you all have the thing, guy who has the running thing. What's it called?
Punching bag.
No.
Boxing.
No, running thing. Treadmill, right? So what do guys do with a treadmill? The guys who don't use it for trade, they put their jackets and hat on it, and that becomes their yeah. And that's or it could be. I like to say this, especially for Ashkenazim in the room, that it was her sheitel block. Like every Haredi woman has a thing which has a head, looks like a woman's head with a neck, and you put your sheitel on it, right? So she had one for her sheitel. Around the house, she wore a tichel, right, her scarf, and you put your sheitel when you go out shopping or you go out to a wedding, whatever, you put your sheitel on. So she took that and put it into again. To say that she had avodah zarah in the house is like wild, right? She had one, but she could have had a head in her shop in her house.
Is it possible they still Goliath's had somewhere stored some sheets of that?
It could be, but we said so. Well, we'd have to go to Trophim. That would have been gruesome, right?
That would be cool.
Also, I don't think from a distance you're going to think that's David. You never know.
It's strong.
But Tichal es Trophim, she took the Trophim, Tasem, and I bet you put it in the bed. Ve'es kivir ha'izim, and exactly the meaning of that word I don't know, but it's clear from the story what it means. She took something from a goat. An ez is a goat. So she took goat's mane. I don't know if goats have manes. Lions have manes, right? But the same equivalent on a goat, which was lying around the house or she had in the backyard or whatever, she took it, maybe it was her scarf or something like that, right? What did she do with that? She put it around his head. Because this mannequin was bald, right? Because of it's her sheitel block. Okay? So, sheitel blocks don't have hair, but David's got to have hair on. So she took some fleece, which was around, and she put that and made that look like it was hair of this mannequin from a distance. I mean, I suppose she could have put her sheitel there as well. But that would look too long, because it was too long. It was a woman's hair. Whatever. Okay. I'm just joking. I don't think women wore sheitels those days. Right? Although the concept did exist. Right? Because I'll talk about sheitels. Goyim used to wear sheitels. Chazal talk about sheitel. They call it a peyar nochris, which means a false hair. That's what it means. False head. That's what it means. So, but Jews probably don't. But the chasba beged, and she covered it with the blanket, right? So he's now asleep in bed.
Yeah.
All right. So what time does David get up in the morning? Presumably he gets up with the crack of dawn, right? He's got to say something to Tehillim, he's got to go to the mikveh. Well, he's got a big tzaddik, right? He doesn't schloff until 9 o'clock, right? So David's up at the crack of dawn. Yishlach Shaul malachim. So Shaul sent messengers. It looks like these are not the same messengers, because he's already sent messages to guard the house. Now he sends other ones, lakachas, says David, to take him. Or it means he gave a message to those malachim. Right? But then it should have said it, Yishlach Shaul la malachim. It looks like he sent another group, because they were, the first guys were just guards, and the second ones were going to make the arrest. Lakacha, says David, to take David. So he knocked on the door, politely, says, can we see David? And she said, she said, Chaylehu, he is ill. You don't believe me? Look through there, he's asleep in bed, right? So she made up this story that David was ill. Again, playing for time, give him more chance to get away. Yishlach Shaul es ha-malachim. So he sent the messengers.
Again.
I presume means the ones who he'd sent to arrest him. Leroy's to see es David. Lamar to say, Ha'alu oisai bamita. Bring him up in the bed. If he's ill and he can't walk, bring him in the bed as well. Ha'alu oisai bamita. In the bed. Eli to me lahamisoi, to kill him. So Shaul's not even hiding it from his messengers.
Where did he go?
Understand? The first group of messengers told him to guard the house. The second group just told him to David. Now, like, what's the big deal, King? Can't you wait till he gets better? Like, why do you need to take him in his bed? Because I want to kill him. Otherwise, he can't explain why they want to bring him in his bed.
Why didn't he just go there himself?
He's the king.
He's the king, man. Right? He's in his throne, and he's on his thing with his spear. Right? Okay.
And they both lived this long.
Vayavayu hamalachim, and the messengers came. Hine also means when you're surprised. Hine means behold, right? But it means something strange happened. What was surprise? Hatrofim elamita. There's these heads in the bed. When they came in the bedroom, ready to pull them, oh, who's there? It's his sheitel block. right? Ukvir ha'izim, and there's this wool from the goat, merashesav, on his head. Okay, so now Shaul realizes that his daughter has tricked him. I suppose they then brought the thing. They didn't bring David. There's nothing to bring. Then they came and told the king, and the king got all upset with his daughter. Why did you thusly cheat me? A ramai is a cheat. Rimisani, you cheated me. Tricked me. Why did you trick me? For example, Lavan is called a ramai, a cheat. Vatishalachi, and you sent away, shalach, es oivi, my enemy. You get vayimaleit, and he escaped. Why did you help my enemy escape? Don't you realize he's my enemy? So she could have said, I have no idea. How am I supposed to know he's your enemy? I mean, you never told me, right? But she didn't say that. Michal said to Shaul, who amar elai? He said to me, Shalcheni, send me. It wasn't my idea, it was his idea, which isn't true, of course, it was her idea. Lama amisech, why should I kill you? He threatened to kill me if I don't help him escape, which is a complete fabrication, right? But maybe this is going to help her look like she's on her father's side.
I mean, this is 100%. This is like showing bias. Like,
right. This way, not just that, this way is Shaul may divulge information that will be helpful for her.
Showing bias.
Right. Okay. So that's. Oh, you're talking about why she's lying.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure she's allowed to lie. That's no problem. For sure. Right. You have to tell the truth to the guy who wants to kill your husband. Right. For sure. I'm saying the advantage of her lying is it's not just the heter to lie. She wants to lie because that way Shaul doesn't know that she's on David's side. Right? That way. Okay. Okay, the David barach and David fled. That doesn't mean David fled now. It means David in the meantime. That's what it doesn't say by Yivrach. I'm sure it means many times. It doesn't say by Yivrach David. By Yivrach David, it means David now fled. No, he's already fled in Pasuk Yud Beis. But we're in a different scene. We're in the scene in the house. In the meantime, all this evening and the whole morning till they got it all sorted out, David has fled. By Yimaleit, and he escaped. Vayavoy, and he came El Shmuel Haramasa. Shmuel, that's not Shmuel for a long time, right? Shmuel, don't forget, lives in Ramah, and David thinks that's the place to go for advice, right? Look, Shmuel, you appointed me as king. Shaul's trying to kill me. What am I supposed to do? Maybe I should declare myself as king. I should fight him. I don't. You go and tell him he should step down. Or that's the best place to go for advice. Besides the fact he's an Avi, right? That's a good place to go. So that's what he did. We secretly went to Shmuel to Ramah. Yaged loy, he told him, even though I presume that would normally be Lashon Hara, right, to tell what Shaul has done, but in a circumstance when you have a very good reason to tell Lashon Hara, it's okay, it's called L'Tayeles, right? You can't keep this a secret, Shmuel has to know. So what do I have to say? I risk my life, I have to know what to do. Okay.
Could you also presume that the Navi knows?
Maybe. I don't know everything, but yeah, I could have done. But yeah, I mean, he could have said, you mean never, it's not called Lashon Hara?
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right, it's not called Lashon Hara because he knows already. Yeah. But then why do you have to tell him? Just in case he doesn't know. No. So he went, and Shmuel, means they went together from Ramah, which is where Shmuel lived, and they settled in Noyos. Now, this place, Noyos, is a place that we've never met anywhere beforehand in Tanach. I know if you go down the Jerusalem highway, which goes towards the Talpiot, there's a sign there to a place called Nayot. So I presume that archaeologists think they know where it is. Yeah? You found it on there?
Yes.
What did you look up? How do you spell it?
Nayot, N-A-Y-O-T.
Yeah, where is it?
It's like in Jerusalem.
Yeah, it's...
Like after Chavi.
That's it, right. Okay, so maybe it's there. I don't know why we should think it. I have no idea. Anyway, there is such a place in Jerusalem. Why they went to this place, I don't know. What's interesting is you'll see on this place, on this page, the word Nayot is written 6 or 7 times, each time written one way and read another way. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see it 5 times on this page. 6, the beginning of the next chapter. Okay. It's written one way, pronounced another way.
Every time?
Every time. It's written nun, as if it's from nun vav, right? Navot, right? but it's written. That means, but it's pronounced Nayot. Now,
How do you know it's pronounced different?
because that's why it's written like this. It's written like this in these parentheses, right? To tell you that it's written like that in the Tanach. But you don't pronounce it. That's why it's got no vowels. The one in the parentheses doesn't have vowels to show you that you don't pronounce it that way. You pronounce it this way. So if you pronounce it that way, it would be Nayot, because the vav comes before the yud. It'd be navet or something like that. But the vav afterwards is just a chaylam, so it's Nayot. Now the word naveh, which is the way it's written. Whenever you have these double written one way and pronounced another way, it's meant to convey some double meaning. It isn't just the place he went to, it's actually what they went to discuss, Chazal say. What were they discussing there? They were discussing about the Neve. Do you know what a Neve is?
Seminary.
Seminary, very good. Right?
Prophets.
That's Navi with a bet. With a Vav, it means Neve, like Neve Yerushalayim. It's like the girl's equivalent of or Sameach, or Aish Torah. No, the girls equivalent of Aish Torah.
Gesher for women.
Yeah, no, it's different things. That's now, but in the olden days, Aish Torah had its girls equivalent. It wasn't really girls equivalent. It was a seminary opened up by Rabbi Weinberg's wife.
Really?
It wasn't really equivalent because she's much more extremely fanatical. Rabbi's wife. She was much more Haredi than he was.
Really?
Yeah. So the girls that she produced were much frummer than the boys that her husband produced.
No way.
I think so, I believe.
They weren't a match.
Not really. You know, like she didn't believe I'm wearing shaitel. She was like she's very strong. Yeah. So Rabbi Berkovitz, the Rosh Hashiva, his first job was teaching in Neve.
Really?
I think so.
Really?
I think he was teaching here, and she wanted him to teach in Neve. And I think there's a whole story that she went with her husband to Reb Shach. She wanted to Rabbi Berkovitz, and he wouldn't agree, and she managed to convince Reb Shach that she was right. That was the whole story. Anyway, she was a character. So no, but that was called, what was that called? It was called, that's not called Neve. Neve is like the equivalent of our Sameach. So Neve means a house. That's why it's called Neve. It's like the girls, because they're the backbone of the house. That's why it's called Neve. So Neve means a house. So according to the Medrash, Shmuel and David were discussing the house, which is the house, the Beis HaMikdash. They were discussing where to build it. You see, the most logical place to build it, you would have presumed, would be on the highest mountain around. But they knew it had to be in Yerushalayim, in the tribe of Yehuda, based on the pasuk that says, Ben Kesefov Shachain. God rests on the shoulder tops. Shoulders there means like the hilltops of the tribe of Yehuda. Right? No. I think that's the tribe of Binyamin. So there's a reason why they thought it was in Yehuda, and they originally assumed, at least David assumed, it would be on a place called Ein Eitam, which is a spring near Hebron. You've been there, right? Solomon's Pool?
Yeah.
Right. So the water in Solomon's Pools comes from a spring further up, I believe.
In
Sultan's Pool over here?
No, Solomon's Pool.
Isn't that Beth?
We discussed it once in Bethlehem, but I think the spring comes from further up, called Ein Eitam, and that's higher than the Temple Mount. Not much higher, but higher, that was their assume. And then Shmuel explained to David, showed him in the Psukim that that's not what God's intention is. It's actually meant to be slightly lower, because when you talk about the shoulders of an animal are higher, like an animal that's bent over, the shoulders are higher than the nape of the neck. So they're supposed to, and here as well, even the Temple Mount here, the Mount of Olives is higher than the Temple Mount, and the mountain that we're on is higher than the Temple Mount. And the Temple Mount just rests a bit lower. So that's why, that was what they were discussing, God's temple. Why specifically that night, and the night that David ran away from Shaul, I don't know. And that's hinted to by this change of the Vav to a Yud and the Yud to the Vav. So they went to Nayot, but you got Shaul. And it was told to Shaul, Lamar, saying as follows, Hine, behold, David Benayot. David's in Nayot, Berama, in Ramah. So it looks like it's an area in Ramah. Right? It's
not far from where he was originally.
Right, so he's in Ramah, and Nayot is a neighborhood in Ramah. Okay? You'll find him there. Okay, so Shaul, Vayishlach Shaul Malachim. This is a fascinating story. Shaul sent messengers. Lakacha says David to take David. It means interesting. Shaul had the audacity to take him even though he's with Shmuel. Although he wasn't told he was with Shmuel. Was he? They didn't tell him that. He's in Nayot in Ramah, hiding out there. Okay, so he sent a group of messengers to bring it. Vayar, and he saw. That means who saw? The messengers. Well, it says it in the singular. I suppose the group of messengers saw es lahakas hanaviyim. The group lahakar is a group. We mentioned once that groups in English and in Hebrew have different names, groups of different things.
Lahakar.
Groups of geeks are called a
Flock.
They call it cackle.
Yeah, I think it's cackle.
Cackling.
Oh yeah.
Birds is a
Flock of birds. Right? Or whatever. Each one's got its own thing. A school of fish.
A murder of crows.
Yeah.
Murder of crows.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Hebrew, right, a group of prophets is called lahakat. Lahakat had Nevi'im, the group of prophets. And what they were doing? Nib'im, prophesying. It was a group of prophets prophesying, which means they were acting strange like prophets do. Right? But they were prophesying this group with Shmuel Oimed, and Shmuel is standing. Shmuel the prophet is standing. Nitzav Aleim. Nitzav means erect. So he's standing erect at attention. He's not prophesying. He's like overseeing them. But he, you got it? Nitzav Aleim. So Shmuel standing erect by them.
Alehem on them.
Alehem, or next to them. It doesn't mean literally on them. It means next to them. But he, and it was, what was, we'll see in a second, Al Malachei Shaul, on the messengers of Shaul, Ruach Elohim, a spirit of God. On the prophets, on the messengers. They were affected by the spirit of prophecy, which was on the group of prophets, affected them. Vayisnabu Gam Hema, and they also prophesied. They also joined in. So they were sent to arrest David, but instead they were overcome by this spiritual atmosphere, and they joined in. Okay? You do the show. So they told Shaul what happened. Somehow or other the message got back. Okay? Vayishlach malachim acherim. So he sent, what did he do? Other messengers. He sent another group of messengers. And Vayisnabu gam hema, and they also prophesied. It's funny, Dylan?
What? I mean, I'm trying to like. Shmuel's meant to be like a person of Sherman, understanding his Sherman. Shaul.
Wait, give me a chance. Wait, he'll join in as well. He said Shaul, and Shaul continued. Vayishlach malachim shlishim, and he sent a third group of messengers. Keeps trying. Third group. Vayisnabu gam hema, and they also prophesied. Okay? Now, in Jewish tradition, 3 times is called we call it chazaka. Once something happened 3 times, it's not going to change. Right? That's set a pattern. So how many times, any more you send 4 or 5, it's still going to happen.
Definition of exam.
Right? 3 times?
Yeah.
Okay. So that he knows he's going to say. Vayelech gam hu. So he also went. Now Shaul went. I'll say it's true he's king, but he wants to get David, and he's not sending messages. Not going to work. He thinks if he goes himself, right, then he's not going to be overcome by this spirit of prophecy and start acting crazy. No, he's going to arrest David. Vayelech gam hu aramasa. Vayava, and he came ad bar hagodol, until the big pit. I don't know why this is significant, but that was the point. Asher ba secho, which is in secho, that's obviously a place, on the way. Vayishal, and he asked. Vayomer, and he said, Eifo Shmuel v'David, where? Eifo means where. Where are Shmuel and David? Vayomer, and he said, meaning the person he asked answered, Hine, behold, b'noyos barama. Now, Shaul knew that already. Like, he's probably making conversation or whatever.
Confirming.
Maybe they could have left. So he went there, El Noyos Barama, to Noyos in Rama. But he Allah, and it was upon him, Gam hu, also him. Ruach Elokim, the Spirit of God. Vayelech, and he went. Haloich vayisnabe. Now, Haloich vayisnabe means continuously. It wasn't just for 2 seconds, and as he was walking, he was prophesying ad bo'o, until he came the Noyos Barama. So it looks like this affected him even before he saw the group. The others were affected when they saw the group of prophets. But he, as soon as he came near there, he's already affected until he came all the way. So what did he do when he got there? Yifshat gamhu es begadov, and he also stripped himself of his clothes. Now it doesn't mean down to his underwear. No, it just means like Yonason. It means what it means is that there's no place for royalty in the presence of prophecy. There, all men are equal. You know, your rank depends on your expertise in prophecy, not on your royal status. And therefore, there was no place for his royal garb there. You were a prophet like everybody else was a prophet. Yifshat gabu begadov, and he also stripped himself of his royal garments. It doesn't say the word royal, but that's what it means, right? It says begadov, his clothes. Yisnabe gamhu, and he also prophesied lifnei Shmuel, in front of Shmuel. Shmuel was the leader of the group, and he was the conduit of the influence of prophecy in all these people. And Shaul also got into this prophecy mode. By Yipol Aram, okay, you read that literally means he fell naked.
Yeah.
Aram means naked. It's hard to believe, there's no concept of being associated with naked in prophecy. It probably means naked in the sense, like we said before, which without his royal garbs. For a king, that's being naked. Yeah. Kol hayom hahu, that whole day. That's how long it had effect on him. Chol halayla, and all that night. Al kein yomru, that's the reason why they say, this has become a phrase in Jewish tradition, Hagam Shaul b'Neviim, is also Shaul amongst the prophets. Now, who's going to go cut the question now?
What was written? That's not a good question.
No, that's a good question. It means it's become, by the time this was edited, 600 years later, it's become a Jewish phrase. Yeah. What does that mean? When you see somebody do something you don't expect, right? I never would have dreamt that so and so would become a judge because he was a good for nothing in school. He was a big thief. He was a gangster in school, right? Okay. So when you see that, so if you're Hebrew and you're Jewish and you're Tanach minded, you won't say, "Wow, Jim also became a judge." You won't say it. You say, "Hagam Shaul b'Neviim." Other guy's not called Shaul and he's not a prophet, but that's become an expression in Hebrew. Mm-hmm. The problem is, come on.
Well, how, I mean, it takes a while for something to become an expression.
So, well, that's what he asked me. How long did it say? 600 years later. No, it's true that Yirmiyah, it's Shmuel HaNavi wrote the book, right? But that pasuk could have been added in by Ezra.
Well, only
it's
that
possible.
part of the pasuk?
Yeah, it could be. Whatever. That's a big, no, a much bigger deal. You had about 5 chapters ago. I'll show you inside. Come on, look over here. Here you go. When Shaul was appointed as king the first time, he had three coronations. One was in secret, yeah. One was in front of the people, originally in Mitzpah, where he hid amongst the bags. The third time was after he did his first conquest against Yavesh Gilad. To protect Yavesh Gilad, then he was re-anointed by Shmuel in public, in Gilgal. Right. The first time he was anointed, Shmuel said, "You'll do this and you'll do that. You'll go here and you'll see these 3 guys and they'll give you this sacrifice and they'll be on the way to Beisel.
Yeah.
And then you'll meet a group of prophets. Yeah. And then what happened?
You prophesied with it.
Right. And look what it says.
Right.
Look at page 26. It says he prophesied with that group. Okay. Yeah. And then it said, Vayan Aish Misham. And someone has said,
which pasuk?
Pasuk Yud Aleph. Sorry, the end of pasuk. Someone saw Shaul and he said, Hagam Shaul b'Neviim is also Shaul amongst the prophets. And somebody said to them, Mi Avihem, who's their father? Like, why are you so surprised? They don't have such amazing genealogy in their background that they should be prophets. Therefore, it's not surprising that Shaul shouldn't be. Why are you so surprised? Al Kain, therefore, Haisal and Mashal, it became an expression, Hagam Shaul b'Neviim. So this idea that the author of this book is trying to explain, where does that expression come from? You will know it. Everybody who's Tanakh-minded uses those words. Right. Not because we have to learn Tanakh to it, but it's become an expression. Which story are you going to blame this on? Is it this story or this story? Right. It can't be both.
Because they're very different stories.
Yeah, the theme is the same idea, that Shaul prophesies together a group of prophets, and it was surprising. Right?
Yeah,
but whoever wrote this has forgotten what he wrote 10 pages ago. What's the cause of this expression?
Well, he also loses the kingship kind of twice also. First
Three
time when-
times.
Okay, that's
Three
true.
times.
So, okay, that's true. Right, fine. So, I don't answer the question.
But okay, no. On the I was and during the Shas match, my page there was the same rabbi contradicted himself
Okay.
in terms of dreams. It's like, oh, I had a dream that I was going to become a head of yeshiva, and then later in the same page, he's like, oh, I had another dream. And I said it was become head of yeshiva. So he had two of the same things.
Now that could be. You could have two dreams, but you can't say. And this is the reason why this statement became used in Jewish tradition. Well, both stories. Well, it could be. It could be. I explain it. There's another place in the Chumash where you find a similar thing, and I'll tell you what the commentary says there. It says, Avraham Avinu made a covenant together with Avimelech. Right? And at that point, there was a whole fight about a well, and they made peace, right? And then Avraham Avinu put 7 sheep on the side, or whatever, and he said, let's make a covenant. And they made a covenant, and that's why the name of the place was called Be'er Sheva. Why? Because the word Sheva means they swore, from the word Shavua, to make an oath. The next parsha, he says that Yitzchak made an agreement with Avimelech, who his servants had filled up his wells, and they'd fought over the wells, and eventually they came to the 7th well, and there they made an agreement, and that's why the place is called Be'er Sheva. And there it means from the word 7. So according to the first story, it's called Be'er Sheva from the word oath. And the second story is because it's the 7th well. Well, why is it called? There's only one place called Be'er Sheva. What's the reason why it's called Be'er Sheva? So the Vilna Gaon has a fascinating pshat, but it's not pshat. It's very cute. I mean, he says originally it was called Be'er Shova, which is what it says in the Chumash. Be'er Shova, and later on it changed to Be'er Sheva. The first time it's from the word Shavua, meaning to swear, and the second one is from the word Sheva, meaning 7. Now, it's actually nuance in the puzzle, because each time it's mentioned before it's called Be'er Sheva. It just happens to be the word is at the end of a puzzle. So Sheva changes, like Yerushalayim at the end of a puzzle, Yerushalayim in the middle of a puzzle. Mm-hmm. So Be'er Sheva becomes Be'er Shava at the end of a puzzle. So I can't prove one way or another because it never occurs
in the middle.
In the middle until the time of Yitzchak. Okay, so that's the Vilna Gaon's approach. Others say it was originally called Be'er Sheva, but the name wouldn't have stuck. People called it Be'er Sheva, but it would have been a temporary name. It only became a permanent name because of a second story, which really, finalized it. So it could be the same thing over here as well. The first story, it says, Al Kain Hoysal Moshel. It became a moshel. But that could be, wasn't permanent. In ours, it doesn't use exactly the same expression. In ours, it says on page 50, what was it?
Al Kain Yomru.
Where is it? What was it?
58.
58. It says Al Kain Yomru. That's why people say. Now that could mean it became much more permanent because the story happened a second time. It wasn't just a temporary thing. And it's my idea based on that commentary over there. Okay? Anyway, it's important that you should, another thing you can point out, but if it's relevant, the first time it says Nevi'im with a Yud, here it says Nevi'im without a Yud. Okay? I mean, there's 2 Yuds in the word Nevi'im. There it says both Yuds, and here it says with a Yud.
So they used to go into like a trance, like they play music and stuff, the museum?
Yeah. In the first story they were playing music. This story doesn't mention there was music. Yes, but that was often through trance or they both
sleep. They say that like Moshe was the only one who
Correct.
spoke, but then how does what about like Shmuel? Would he be able to just get like?
I don't know.
I see
Yeah,
that.
I think there seems to be stories.
I don't know.
How
How do I know? It doesn't say.
Like he would be able to.
I don't know. The way the Rambam describes Moshe Rabbeinu was unique. He was the only one who could do that. Chazal do say that Shmuel, on a certain extent, was like Moshe Rabbeinu, but I don't think they mean on his level of prophecy. They mean in other qualities. He was like Chazal saying Shmuel was like Moshe and Aaron. We see in the Apostle Moshe Aaron b'chayanov, u'Shmuel b'kairei shemot. The Apostle like puts them on 2 sides of the scale. In a certain way, Shmuel was equal to Moshe and Aaron put together.
For me, they both have a Yud. It's just...
No, they both have, one has 2 Yuds, one has 1 Yud.
They both have 1 Yud for me. One is Yud Aleph, and then one's Aleph Yud.
Oh, the other one has Yud Aleph Yud. The first time on page 26, Nevi'im is Yud Aleph Yud Mem. Yeah. I'm looking at this one.
Oh. That's
He has to do it afterwards, and another has to do it beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So there's something in here, but I've no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we continue. We're over time. Okay, stop there. We've got the end of the perek. Okay, but it's okay. We have to pay as well, so you don't have to. All right. Good.
Feel wholesome.
When is mine finished? Tomorrow.
We've got classes tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Are we doing the last mission and fucking today? Or?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to start new Masechta tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're just doing one.
What do we do?
I mean, Dylan did the last Mishnah, but
We'll read the.
Dylan's going to teach it, right?
Oh, that was.
Oh, you got it. You got it from. Did you see? I replied to your email.
Yeah.
You're late.
Right.
Yeah, yo, it's cool.